Well, big prophet jewel of the day. This one's about expectations. So I looked up the word expectations, and it said it's an idea that you believe should happen. All right, I looked up the etymology. It broke down to a waiting to or a waiting for. Right, so it's like it's a foregone conclusion already that this should happen, it shall happen, it's going to happen. And the word believe is like this idea, you're already assuming that it's a reality, like you're just waiting to see it happen. Okay. So I've heard of high expectations, I've heard of low expectations, but I haven't heard about balanced expectations, right? So problem with high expectations is if you don't get what you expect, you end up disappointed. Problem with low expectations is that you're limiting what is possible, because you're already putting a cap on it, and you're probably going to be disappointed anyways because you're going to get something that's not fulfilling it in the first place. All right. So how do we balance that? So I think let's throw away low expectations altogether. Because we should keep it high, have high standards. I don't believe in low standards. So how do we balance our high expectation? How do we make this balance? How do we make this reasonable? All right. Because if you have a high standard and you're not doing the work, or you're not doing what it takes to make it a reality, then it's naive, it's unreasonable. Okay, so let's bring reason into this. All right, you got a high expectation. You want to make this a reality. You have high standards. What are you contributing to make this a possibility, to make this a reality? What are you bringing to the table? Are you taking responsibility for this? Are you aware of all the elements at play? How much awareness do you have? All right, so let's talk about awareness before we get to responsibility. All right, so awareness. Are you communicating? Are you communicating what you expect? Or are you just assuming it should be this way? Do you know what other people are dealing with? Do you know all the elements that it takes to make this happen? All right. Now let's get to responsibility. Whose responsibility is your expectation? Are you putting the responsibility of this idea you believe should happen on somebody else? Or is it your responsibility? You know what I mean? Like, whose responsibility is it? Who's to blame if it doesn't happen? Who's getting mad, and who are they mad at? Is that reasonable? I got all these questions because, like, we got to understand, like, we react emotionally to these things, these ideas. And let me dial it back, because I'm going I'm off to the races with this one. But let's pull it back. Expectations, that shit is natural as blinking and breathing. We do that shit every waking moment. You know what I mean? We're constantly predicting. We're constantly assuming. We'll take one tiny piece of information and tell ourselves a whole story and actually believe that shit. We actually believe that shit. We believe our assumptions. We believe these predictions will happen. And then we get upset at the external world. We get upset at what's happening outside of us, because it's not going in line with what's happening within our own mind, right? It doesn't make sense, especially when you take into consideration how little we perceive as human beings, how much we assume and how little we perceive. All of us do this shit, and I spoke about this in objective and subjective reality. You know what I mean? Like, whatever we perceive, whatever we believe, Like at best is only a portion, a small portion at best. And usually we're incorrect. We're creating a story that's incorrect. We might be a little right, but that's at best. We'll never have the whole scope of what is really going on. We'll assume all this shit. We'll believe that shit like it's gospel, but it's not. That ain't what really going on. So what we need to do is humble ourselves and be ready and open to receive more information so we can have a more balanced judgment. I mean, because when we create these assumptions and we believe them, then we're judging people and situations based on little information. It's unfair judgment. Right? So we some judgmental, assuming ass people that be coming up with these motherfucking, we predicting all the motherfucking time, making all these predictions. And yo, it's human. That's what we do. That's how we try to control and create order in this chaotic world. And it's chaotic to us because we only got a certain level of perception. We don't see all the things that play in this big scope. You know what I mean? So it's chaotic to us. We're trying to understand this shit. And we're gonna be wrong the majority of the time, if not all the fucking time. And even when we're right, it's only partially. I mean, so we gotta humble ourselves when we have these expectations, when we create these ideas that we really truly believe in. You know what I mean? We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We don't know this. We don't know shit. I mean, so let's get back to responsibility. Now that we're aware of how dumb we are, or how much conclusions we jump to, it's our responsibility for these ideas, these harebrained schemes or whatever the fuck, like all these conclusions we're jumping to. It's our responsibility. It's not theirs. And then we get petty about this shit. So if we don't get what we want or what we believe should happen, we get emotional about the shit, overreact about the shit, and then we make poor judgment. You know what I mean? But we need to be more aware. And the worst thing you could do is judge somebody off of little to no information. You know what I mean? Because then you're gonna mistreat them. Have you ever treated somebody bad off of an assumption and then find out that they're dealing with a lot of bullshit? Like, that makes you feel awful, yo. It's a horrible thing to do. So, yo, we gotta be patient and we gotta be open to receive more information before we jump to conclusion. We some jump into conclusion ass motherfuckers, though. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We're human beings, you know? So we gotta look at other people and be reasonable. You know what I mean? And we gotta be accepting. We should accept people, you know? Like, we can't be out here looking at people and trying to fit them into a motherfucking box. We don't want to be fit into no box. Boxes for when we're gone, you know, and that shit ain't for the living. You know what I mean? So we gotta accept people while we're here. You know what I mean? So you put, like, kids are put under expectations all the time, you know. We're all put under expectations in society, but when you have kids, you expect this and that of them. You know what I mean? But you got to look at them and be like, yo, the kids, you know what I mean? They're gonna make mistakes, so you accept the mistakes. But you also have a standard of what you won't accept. You know what I mean? Because you expect a level of behavior from them, right? So there's a standard with reason. So you have to have a reasonable standard, reasonable expectations. And these expectations change from person to person, situation to situation. Okay. Now, bouncing back to responsibility. So it's our responsibility when we have these expectations, these ideas that we actually believe in. I believe should happen. So it brings me back to the word should. You got to stop shoulding all over people. Stop putting your should all over people. Stop putting your should on yourself. Stop shoulding on yourself. You know what I'm saying? I got that from Bruce Van Horn, yo. You know what I mean? So I ain't trying to take credit for that, but yo, stop shoulding all over yourself. Stop shoulding all over other people. It's not right. It's not fair. And it ain't making nobody happy. You know what I mean? You gotta learn to accept people, yo. So let me give you an example, right? I'm at work. I see people getting paid like 2-3 times what I'm getting paid, and they on their ass being lazy. I'm busting my ass sweating in a hot day and shit, and just getting pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Getting cheese. Cause I'm just all this expectations. I'm like, yo, if they getting paid 3 times as much as me, they should be doing 3 times the work. You know what I mean? Like, why am I out here? You know what I mean? I'm just bringing my vibration down. Just within my own mind. Just all these thoughts that's running through my own mind. I'm feeling worse with all these thoughts. I'm making myself upset. Meanwhile, they having a great time, but when I interact with them, I'm resentful. You know what I mean? So I'm spreading my negative energy based off my expectations, creating resentment and potentially creating animosity. Now, if I was just focusing on myself and trying to make myself happier and worry about my own vibration and keep myself strong, I should be focusing on bettering myself, being a better husband, being a better father, maybe create a business so I ain't have to deal with this shit anyways. You know what I mean? I should be focusing on positives and creating a positive reality instead of a negative one. You dig? So that's a problem. So I'm getting petty because I'm comparing. And then they say comparison is a thief of joy, right? So I'm out here comparing. I'm expecting them to do something. But now I'm trying to be more wise with this shit. I'm trying to focus on just controlling my own vibration. Trying to be a happier person. Try to be less petty and shit. Cause yo, what I should expect is people to be focused on themselves like I'm focused on myself. You know what I mean? Yo, that's what we do as people. Like, yo, what I should expect is people to be people. Human beings to be human beings, yo. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. I should accept that. I shouldn't be controlling and expecting people to do what I expect. I shouldn't expect people to fall in line with this idea that's in my head. I should just worry about my damn self, focus on my happiness and my joy and my family, and keep it moving. Because my job ain't that hard either. You know what I mean? It might have some hard days, but I'm blessed. You know what I mean? So if they don't want to, that's on them. That's their character. That's their problem. It's not my problem. It shouldn't be my problem. And I shouldn't try to take responsibility over their shit. I should just take responsibility over my shit. I mean, I'm a lot more at peace. My vibration is a lot higher than it was. I'm having better times, better days. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Because I just accepted it. I'm not shooting all over myself. I'm not shooting all over other people. I don't give a shit, period. You know what I'm saying? And my life is better for it. And that's the problem with expectations, yo. You expect something to go a certain way. And there's another thing with expectations, too. If you get what you expect, is it that big of a deal? Are you really grateful when you get what you expect? Nah, it's just regular shit. If you don't get what you expect, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a negative feeling. But when you get surprised with something, when you get something you don't expect, that's the best shit in the world. When you get a good surprise, you get something positive. And the only way you could do that is if you have less expectations. Less expectations, the more opportunity you have to receive and be open to receive something good, a good surprise. Like the happiest you've been, like the highest vibration is gratitude. And when you receive something that you weren't expecting, a gift or an experience you weren't expecting, that's the best shit in life, yo. That's the best thing in life. That's what you have a great day. It didn't go the way you expected. And you probably had zero expectations. So when you limit your expectations, which is not an easy thing to do, it's something you gotta practice. Because we do that shit like blanket. It's like trying to have a staring contest. You gotta strain that shit. But you could get better at it in like having a staring contest. But yeah, like it's a skill. It's a skill. You develop that shit. You know what I mean? The less expectations you have going into a situation, more open you are to receive something better. And that's what acceptance is about, is open receiving. You're open to receive that shit. So just like the people you should accept, you gotta be open to accept, open to receive good things in life. And if you want to talk about a vibrational level, that's where abundance comes in. When you're open to receive. And you can't be open to receive if you're expecting something to happen and you're just cornering yourself into either being upset that you don't get it or just not appreciative at all when you do get what you expect. You know what I mean? It's not a good look. It's not a good vibe, and you're not going to get what you want. And it's a lower vibe than what you want. What you do want is gratitude. What you do want is happiness. What you do want is openness. You know what I mean? Life is about the surprises. It's not about what you expect. It shouldn't be about what you expect. So next time you have expectations and you're putting all your shoulds all over somebody, realize you're just shoulding all over yourself. You know what I mean? You're just lowering your own vibration. So take it from me. Take some advice from somebody that's trying to improve themselves, like made the mistakes. I mean, like life is a lot easier when you try to check yourself and try to limit these expectations. I mean, there's a lot further I could go, but hopefully that's good enough for this jewel, yo. Nothing but peace and love, yo.